All right, hack number 7 is a really fun one for today. It's really fun because it's so easy to implement and because it's so important to all of our businesses. Now, if you've followed any of the things that I've done in the past, you would know that I'm very much a numbers guy. I don't believe in operating your business and particularly your marketing without having the numbers that you need to make wise decisions. And as you know, in Infusionsoft, you've got all the data you'd ever need to make those decisions. The problem is, all that data isn't always as readily accessible as we would always like. For example, there's no trending reports, right? There aren't graphical reports that show us trend lines and show us, change over time with our different numbers. So the problem that we're dealing with here is that Infusionsoft has limited reports to show performance over time. And some Infusionsoft reports have the ability to show, month to date numbers or maybe even last 90 days or other date ranges, but most don't allow you to see a date range compared to a previous date range. So you can't really see that over time unless you go and do a search and then alter the date range and do another search and alter the date range and then maybe grab those numbers and put them in Excel and look at it that way. So we've got a hack today for you that's going to show you how to actually get these numbers that show you performance over time right on your dashboard. So the secret is to use campaign timers to create your date ranges. Now, you may have not ever thought of it quite that way, but as we dive into this, you'll see that it's so simple, so easy to implement, and absolutely gives you the visibility that you need to track performance over time. So here's what it looks like implemented in a very simple way. You can see here that the top 3 lines, I've got weekly reporting. So I've got purchases this week, and this is number of purchasers, not the number of orders. And so we'll talk about why there's that slight limitation there, but it's the number of people who made a purchase this week. So that's 35. Number of people who made a purchase last week, 36. And number of people who made a purchase 2 weeks ago, 155. And now I could also continue that number of people who made a purchase 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. I can make that as long as I'd like. And then below that, I've got month to date and monthly historical data here. So I've got month to date is 195, last month is 69, and 2 months ago is 87. Now you might be wondering, well, what happened 2 weeks ago? Obviously at the beginning of this month. Well, it was a Black Friday deal that spilled over into the beginning of December. So you see a bunch of purchases in that period. So this is the type of reporting that you can put right on your dashboard and see that performance and how it changes over time. I've got a 3 week period and a 3 month period here as representation, but like I said, you can build those out as long as you'd like. You can build out a whole year's worth if you'd like, so that you could see that performance over time. You could build out 2 years worth for all I care. You could build out as many as you'd like. It's understanding the methodology that's important so that you can go and build these reports. So let's dive into this. Here is the very basic campaign for the weekly reporting that you saw on the dashboard just now. So the key here is when anybody makes a purchase, they need to be given a tag. And that tag is going to be used in this first goal that you see in the upper left hand corner, purchase in current week. So immediately upon purchase, they're given a tag. So here we have a reporting tag. I've got it in a reporting category, and the tag is called purchase in current week. So when someone gets that tag, which should happen anytime they make a purchase, it's going to achieve that first goal in the upper left hand corner there. And that first goal, as soon as it is achieved, of course, it's going to put these people into that first sequence there called purchase counter current week. So we just need to make sure that tag is applied as soon as a purchase is made, and whenever that tag is applied, it will trigger that goal and put them into the sequence. The sequence looks like this. So we're doing weekly reporting, and what we have here as soon as they come in is a timer. It's going to wait at least 15 minutes, and then it's going to run on Sunday at 3 a.m. Now, this particular business runs on the west coast of the United States in California. So 3 a.m. on the East Coast, which is where the Infusionsoft servers run, and that's the time zone they run on, is midnight on the West Coast. So we've kind of timed it that way so that it flips over right at midnight. At the end of each week, midnight on Saturday night into Sunday morning. So as soon as that timer flips, it's basically triggering now the end of the week and the rolling over into a new week. So up until this point, people have that tag, purchase in current week. And so we can go report on that particular tag. However many people have made a purchase in the current week or week to date, we can find the current number of people who have that tag. But after that timer flips, what's going to happen is we're going to first remove that tag that they got when they made a purchase. So that action is to remove the purchase in current week tag. And then immediately we apply another tag, which is the purchase last week tag. So now those people have rolled into the next group. They now have a different tag called purchase last week. Now that tag there is also going to achieve the next goal, which is the purchase last week tag at the end of that sequence. So what that does is it pulls them out of that current sequence or the purchase counter for current week sequence, and then that goal there is also the same goal as the beginning of this sequence. So it's using the same tag there. So when they get tagged inside the first sequence, it pulls them out of the first sequence, and then it now is going to achieve the goal on the front of this sequence and put them into the next sequence, which is to run the purchase counter for last week. And again, inside that sequence, we do the same thing. We're going to have that timer that waits until 3 a.m. on Sunday, and then it's going to remove the last week tag and apply the tag for 2 weeks ago. And of course, that's going to then trigger the start of the next sequence, which waits another week and then triggers the removal of the 2 weeks tag. And then in this particular case, it's only a 3-week sequence, and so it's basically over at that point. But you could continue, add a third week, a fourth week, a fifth week, etc. And so that's the idea. It's very, very basic. So at any given time, we can go and search the number of people who have the tag for the current week, the number of people who have the tag for the last week, and the number of people who have the tag for 2 weeks ago. So you can just go ahead and repeat this for as many weeks and as many months as you'd like. Just repeat that exact same process. And then once you have that all set up, you go ahead and create saved searches for each of those tags. So instead of having to go and manually search each of those tags, just create saved searches for each of those tags for the current week, last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, etc. And once you have those saved searches created, just go ahead and add those saved searches to your dashboard the way you saw me do here. And then you've got those numbers in real time right on your dashboard, and you can see those trends. Now, unfortunately, it's not a graphical report. It doesn't necessarily show us the graphical trend over time, but it does show us the exact numbers over time of people who have made a purchase in this week, last week, 2 weeks ago, etc. Now, I mentioned earlier that these are the number of people who made the purchases, not the number of orders or the number of purchases. The reason being is tags can only be applied to people one time. You can't apply the same tag multiple times and then be able to report on that. And we can't run save searches quite like this with orders and other things using the campaign timers. So there is some limitation there, but you can imagine all the different things that you might do here. The number of people who've opted in the last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, etc. The number of people who made purchases, the number of people who submitted a case study, the number of people who did anything that you're trying to report on can all be tracked like this in a historical way so that you can see the trend over time right there on your dashboard. So it's a very, very simple hack, but as you can see, it brings a lot of really important data right to your dashboard, which is a lot of fun and helps you make decisions quickly based on your historical and trending data. So again, thanks so much for watching our hack for the day. Go ahead and post your comments below, any suggestions you have for future hacks. Stay tuned because of course we've got 5 more hacks of Christmas to go, and more information about our all access pass is coming soon. So thanks again, enjoy the holidays, and thanks for watching the 12 hacks of Christmas for Infusionsoft.